Tesla stock has been on an absolute tear in 2023. And you can see on your screen, Tesla has been a monster since 2011. In 2020, the stock was up 743%. But last year, in 2022, the stock was down 65%. Let's break down Tesla stock, show you some of the highlights and future growth opportunities. Then we'll look at fundamentals and some bold price predictions from people like Cathie from ARK. And we'll also look at a chart to see where the stock is headed in the short term. Is Tesla stock a buy now? Let's dig in. So Tesla's up over 100% year to date. Today it's down about 5%, trading at $244.29. It's up 26.46% over the past month. Year to date, 125.99%. Over the past year, the stock is basically flat. 52-week low, $101.81. 52-week high, $314.67. This market cap's right about $782 billion, and the PE ratio 73.53. So of course, after being hammered in 2022, the stock is up big year to date. Tesla is one of the largest technology companies in the world, but it's also one of the most polarizing stocks in the world because of CEO Elon Musk. So what are some reasons to be bullish about Tesla longer term? The list is actually quite long, and I'm not saying the stock is cheap here by any means, but when you look at future growth opportunities, there are a lot of different hands and different pots at Tesla. As you know, Tesla has already established itself as a market leader for electric vehicles. In 2022, Tesla delivered 1.31 million vehicles. That number's up 40% from 2021. When you look at the legacy car manufacturers like Ford only sold 61,575 vehicles last year. And General Motors, the largest car manufacturer in the United States, only sold 39,096 vehicles last year. So Tesla in the United States, when you think of market share, absolutely dominates electric vehicles. So Tesla is really just scratching the surface when you think of EVs. In 2022, 13.7 million light vehicles were sold in the United States, and 67.2 million cars were sold worldwide. So electric vehicles last year only represented about 14% of sales globally. For some additional perspective, in 2020, only 4% of global vehicles were electric. And the IEA expects 14 million EVs sold worldwide this year. That's up 35% from last year. And of course, another thing to highlight here are the tax credits for electric vehicles. This could be a big tailwind for Tesla. The company sold 423,000 vehicles in the first quarter, with projections of 1.8 million this year. Now remember, that's a pretty big jump because they sold 1.31 million cars in 2022. Another tailwind for Tesla, Tesla's expanding its product line. And one big hole for Tesla's lineup this entire time has really been having a truck. And Tesla's long-awaited Cybertruck is expected to be rolling off assembly lines this fall in 2023. Now this could be a huge market for Tesla. In the US, full-size truck sales totaled 2 million in 2022. General Motors sold over 750,000 of those. And Ford sold over 653,000. So last year, 10.9 million light trucks were sold in America. And trucks don't just add to total unit sales, they also add to profitability. Back in 2020, Morgan Stanley did a report, and they said that most of the profits for Ford and General Motors actually come from trucks. Listen to this stat. 5 vehicles, including the Silverado and Sierra, accounted for 80% of GM's earnings before interest and taxes. And last year, RBC and Morgan Stanley pegged Ford's profit per truck or SUV at $14,000 per vehicle. So if these numbers are accurate, the Tesla Cybertruck could be huge for both top and bottom lines for Tesla. In addition to the Cybertruck, you have Tesla semi-trucks. And Tesla is aiming to ramp up to 50,000 Tesla semi-electric trucks per year. Now, I totally get it. I know that Elon Musk often will overpromise and underdeliver when he talks about some of these stats and timelines. So take numbers like this with a grain of salt. But on a recent earnings report, this was a couple quarters ago, he said on a call, it takes about a year to ramp up production. So we're tentatively aiming for 50,000 units in 2024. That's just next year. And obviously will expand beyond North America. Tesla has many other assets in addition to the ones we've already covered, including one of the nation's largest solar companies and Megapack's emerging battery storage solution for utilities. And Tesla really is an AI company. It's an artificial intelligence company. A couple years back, we did a top AI stocks to buy, and it was one of the top picks on that list. We said really Nvidia and Tesla were the two top picks when you think of AI stocks. So that'll segue into things like autonomous vehicles, robo-taxis, which we'll talk more about later with Cathie from ARK. In addition, the potential for even robots like Optimus. Now, these are moonshot investments, so they're not a guaranteed slam dunk. You could argue they're somewhat speculative, but if either one of these work out even 50% of what, say, Cathie Wood is saying, the stock's gonna be worth a lot more money in 2027 and 2030. So you really can be bullish about several different things, not just electric vehicles. We're talking about semi-trucks. We're talking about artificial intelligence, robo-taxis, robots, and more. Now, this was posted in Discord today by Dave. And if you want to join us in our private Discord and Patreon community, visit patreon.com/firedupwealth. But this is hot off the presses here from ARK. So last week, Tesla released its compute capacity forecast, making it clear that this will not only be one of the top EV companies in the world, manufacturers in the world, but also one of the most important AI companies in the world. Tesla's projecting that by October 2024, its compute capacity will hit a staggering 100 exaflops. That's 20x more than the 4.5 exaflops that were discussed in the AI day recently. In other words, Tesla may become one of the largest AI training companies in the world in the 2 years ending October 2024. Tesla intends to scale its capacity from 14,000 NVIDIA A100 chips to the compute equivalent of 300,000 NVIDIA A100 chips. For perspective, with 80% of the market in the past year, NVIDIA shipped an estimated 350,000 GPU units. So this is one big reason why people are very bullish about NVIDIA right now. With that said, Tesla is starting to create their own chips. While Tesla will probably continue to purchase hardware from NVIDIA, Tesla is likely to shift increasingly to its own hardware and chips. Dojo to reach 100 exaflops of capacity at 3x the performance of NVIDIA's A100 in October 2024. That said, because NVIDIA's latest chip, the H100, already is 4 to 6x higher performance than the A100, Tesla will have to create and advance its hardware rapidly. And of course, that's if they want to dominate in the race to full autonomy in the transportation space. And this chart here is the road to autonomy, again from ARK Invest. Time taken to reach most recent 1 million miles. You can see Waymo, which is owned by Google, 2.4 years. Cruise, 3 months. And Tesla FSD miles, it says 14 hours. So here's that federal tax credit we talked about, $7,500, now available for Model 3 and Model Y. You've got the lineup here, Model S, Model 3, X, Y. You also have solar roof, solar panels, and Powerwall. And this is their AI and robotics page, talking about the Tesla bot, FSD chip, Dojo system, neural networks, autonomy algorithms, code foundations, and more. So as you probably know, ARK Invest, their flagship ETF is the ARKK. And the top holding in ARKK is Tesla at about 12.15% weight. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about ARK and their prediction on Tesla here in a few minutes, as well as get some commentary from Cathie Wood. Before we do that, I want to look at some quick fundamentals on Tesla stock. So trading at $244, we mentioned the PE ratio is about a 75. It's a mega cap, about $813 billion market cap. Short interest, 3.31%. Additional metrics, price to sales ratio, 9.41. Price to cash flow ratio is 51.66. Price to book, about 17, 16.92. PEG ratio is high. You want that, generally you want it 1 or less, but this is a growth stock. There's a lot of people that are very hyped about this stock longer term, and it's going to trade at a premium valuation. So right now that PEG ratio is 7.39. That is not cheap. Now with that said, PE for next year's estimate, right now it's sitting at 52.6. Now you never want to buy a stock just solely off analyst rankings and price targets, but I think it's good to look at just to get an idea of sentiment. So right now it's a moderate buy with 31 analyst rankings. The highest price target, $335. Lowest is $85, and the average price target is $220.04. Now ARK is expecting Tesla to be $2,000 a share in 2027. And their bull case is even higher at $2,500 per share. Bear case is still $1,400 a share in 2027. And this breaks down revenue by business line, their expected value. You can see this light green here is electric vehicles, only 47%, robotaxi 44%, and then other. So ARK isn't even really planning on any of the moonshots that we talked about. This is really just electric vehicles and robotaxis. Not Optimus, not solar, not megapacks, and so on. And instead of reading through more of this for you, let's hear directly from Cathie Wood of ARK Invest.
General Motors joining Ford now in partnering with Tesla to use its charging network in North America. Under the deal, GM's electric vehicles will gain access to 12,000 of Tesla's fast chargers starting next year. It is a very big deal. Joining us right now is ARK Invest CIO and CEO Cathie Wood. Tesla is, of course, the top holding of the ARK Innovation ETF.
Well, I think it's great for America and our transition to the electric future, as Elon said. And I do think it increases the probability that our forecast of 60 million electric vehicle sales by 27, it has increased the probability that that is right. We had globally 7.7 electric vehicles sold around the world last year, going to 60 million. And is going to completely dominate the industry. And I think having both General Motors and Ford on this charging network, which is the big gating factor, range anxiety, gets us there that much faster. You know, this reminds me of what happens with most technologies that proliferate and scale. There's a standard, and here we have a charging standard. Charging solves the range anxiety problem. And what's also very interesting about this is it does help Tesla underwrite the charging station expense, because if you look at Tesla's sales, they are highly concentrated on the coasts. Now it's going to make a lot more sense for Tesla to roll out charging stations that much faster throughout the country.
Right. How much of their revenue and profits do you now imagine over time will be a function of the infrastructure part of their business versus the automobile manufacturing part of their business?
Well, actually, we think another revenue source is going to be much bigger. And of course, that's the autonomous taxi platform. And we think it's going to drive the valuation, because the margins associated with autonomous are going to be SaaS-like. So instead of electric vehicle gross margins in the 25 to 30% range, we expect autonomous, the platform strategy, to deliver 80%, 90% margin. So the combined will be north of 50%.
In terms of the grid, though, that they're building and these charging stations, you think that's a small part of the business? Yeah, and the services that they may be able to layer on at some of those stations? We
have not counted. So we are in print at $2,000 in 2027, and we have not counted the possible revenue sources associated with this strategy. And we haven't even done much in the energy storage business away from electric vehicles, because we think the most valuable part of the business will be the scaling of vehicles to create this autonomous taxi platform.
In another Tesla mega bull, Ron Barron, Tesla stock could hit $1,500 a share by 2030. So a bit more conservative than ARK, but still much higher than what it's trading at today. And here's a quote from Ron Barron. This is on CNBC. Demand picks up so much. It's unprecedented demand for his cars right now. We started investing in his company in 2014, and they were doing 31,000 cars per year. He thinks 20 million cars by 2030. I'm thinking 1,500 a share by 2030. So next we're going to look at a chart, and I'll give you my final thoughts and commentary. Before we do that, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and click that bell to get notifications. And if this video is helpful, drop me a like and drop me a comment. I appreciate you. In addition, I need to announce this video is sponsored by The Motley Fool. If you'd like to see the 10 best stocks to buy now, visit fool.com/firedupwealth. A reminder, Fool does not tell me what to tell you guys, what videos to make, what stocks to cover. They're a great partner, and check those guys out. Every single Wednesday, we do what's called Chart Day in Patreon Discord. So we cover QQQ and 20 individual stock tickers that are chosen by community members. So when you see orange, that's a previous chart day. Yellow is today's chart day, which I'll show you here in a minute. Now, if you want to join us for Chart Day every single Wednesday, visit patreon.com/firedupwealth to join our private community Patreon Discord. The community has been growing strong. We've added close to 100 members this year so far, and you have absolutely absolutely nothing to lose, so give us a try. So Tesla is one of the most popular stocks in our private community, and we were buying this stock at much lower levels in Discord. And back in the lows here in the beginning of the year in January 2023, we said it could go as low as $81. We had price targets in here. 101 was one of them. It got to 101.81. I don't think a whole lot of people nailed it exactly at 101.81, but we were dollar cost averaging pretty heavy, 125 and less, even 150 and less. And we have been accurate with this stock. We cover it pretty much every week. So obviously this opportunity has passed, and this had a nice rip up, doubled here from 101 to 217, consolidated and down channel here, popped again. And a lot of this pop accelerated from that GM news that we heard about from Cathie Wood when you think about the Chargers. And I'm going to give you some price levels here in a second, but I want to just provide some quick thoughts on Tesla. I own the stock. I'm bullish on the company long term. There is certainly risk with Tesla stock. When you think of the valuation, you think of Elon Musk. If something happened to Elon Musk, it would significantly impact this stock. And I like this stock much lower. I really prefer Tesla under $200 a share. I'm not sure if you're going to see that or not, but let me show you the price levels that could happen. These are just possibilities, and I'm not a financial advisor, and I use technical analysis as a long-term investor to get better entry and exit points for long-term holds. So it really needs to hold this $239 level, $239.40. Now, if it can hold that, I think it could go higher. I think upside possibility, $300 or more. This is a Fibonacci retracement. You generally don't want to buy when it's up in the red and purple. You want to buy it really down here in the green or the red on the bottom side. So if you are buying here, it's a bit of a chase. But with that said, I think the stock could go much higher. And if you're thinking long term, even if Ron Barron or Cathie Wood are wrong and this is $1,000 a share, that's still a 5x opportunity from these prices. Now, if it breaks this $239.40 level right here, you could see $222, this first red line. The second red line possibility here is $212.10. And below that would be the R1. So these are Fibonacci's here. This is going to be your pivot points. And that R1 is $206.50. Now this S3 support is way down here at 143, S2 at 160. So there is some risk to this stock if you're buying it at these levels, especially if the market sells off hard if we go into a recession. But if you're bullish on this company and you're thinking long term, you're going to hold it 5 or 10 years, it's really a stock that you want to dollar cost average in over time and think long term. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, click that bell for notifications, drop me a like, drop me a comment. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.